Hey, welcome back, everybody. We're going to get started on the second part to the SketchUp tutorial on for Architecture 2 here. Today, we're really going to start off by laying out windows and some doors, and I'll show you guys some tricks to that. And then in the next video, we're going to talk about coloring everything. Actually, we might even get into some of that here today with windows and doors. So one of the first things we really want to do, actually, I just closed that thing, is we're going to open up our views, and I'm going to start with the front of my house, and I'm going to draw all the windows and doors that belong in the front, at least the outlines of them, and then I'm going to do the rest on the sides, and then we'll start pushing and pulling things. So in my house, I have windows across the top of my home. These are ultimately going to help convect and send like the heat out of the house. And realistically, at this point, we're going to be dealing more with trying to keep things looking pretty decent. It sometimes is easier said than done when it comes to like positioning things, but you can adjust it with the move tool down here. So yeah. So when we go to create the window up here, first of all, I'm actually going to be creating like 3 individual windows. I'm also going to have, let's see here, I just want to try and create like a decent border. So I'm going to create this box around the outside here. I'm going to create a border. And I'm going to say that my border is going to be 3 inches by 3 inches. I'm just going to type 3 tab 3 because it defaults to 3 inches. Maybe that's a little too small. Let's change that. Let's go like 5 comma 5. And in this bottom corner down here, I'm going to come out 5 comma 5. This is just basically something that I can like grab because I'm going to do the outline of my pieces here. This is going to be like the trim. So I'm just going to come through with my triangle or my erase tool and remove that. I'm just clicking and dragging to like select multiple things at once. And I can start with something like that. So the next thing I'm going to do, because I'm going to have like 3 windows through here, is I'm going to draw the vertical separations of the windows. And again, when I look back at this, I do 4 inches over. Oops, what just happened? Edit undo. Control Z will undo something. So when I grab this like move tool, I can like slide these things around, right? So if you're not super happy with how it's looking, like maybe I'm going to do thinner pieces in the middle. Control Z undo. And again, I can be looking somewhat here at like the size of my windows and trying to make them look halfway decent, which that's not too bad. Let me tweak that for a second more. Yeah, so I'm going to leave it something like this at this point here. So I'm going to grab my eraser tool and I'm just going to remove like these pieces here. And again, if I like click and drag, I think I can, yeah, get rid of both those things. All right, so I'm now going to get started working on my door. I have a door towards the left side of my home. So when I go to draw my door, I am going to put some dimensions in for this. It's going to be 3 feet across, comma, 7 feet tall. Okay, and again, I want to create a box that's like 4 comma 4. And down here in the bottom, I can't really do a box because, well, I can come down here and I can say 4 comma 4. And again, I can create a new rectangle now that starts at the top here and ends here. And we can go through and erase like those pieces that I use for measuring. Okay, so again, this is the trim around my door, ultimately. I'm going to put like a window in my door also later on, but we'll just leave it at that for the moment. I'm going to get started. I have like a big picture window, which I really want to align with a couple different things, right? So I'm just going to take a pencil. I want my picture window to be at the same height as up there. I'm going to hit escape to get out of that. And I want my picture window to begin underneath of here. Okay, so I'm just kind of like helping to outline where this window is going to be. I will have my picture window stop at this point here. So again, by grabbing the stuff from above, it's going to give us, visually, it's going to look quite a bit better to align these things. But that's personal preference, really. Like that's not the end of the world. Undo, because what I'm doing there is I'm deleting like this. Ugh, that didn't work out. Okay, I'm going to undo that like stupid line that I drew there, and I'll go again. Okay, and again, this program has advantages and disadvantages, so we just got to kind of sometimes back up and deal with that stuff. So I'm going to remove all of these lines. I'm going to remove these lines down here as well. Actually, okay. And then as far as the bottom is concerned, I guess that I'm just going to draw something like this. Now, the reason I'm putting another window over here ultimately, but for right now, I'm going to come back to that here in a second. If I delete this line, I wonder if I can move it. Let's see if this move tool, if I can select this line and no, I'm just moving that. So just create a new line, bring it straight down. If there are overlapping areas, if you go to use your, which we've already seen, I guess, other places, but if you go to use your eraser tool to trim back. Okay, so this is going to be my big picture window. For my bathroom window, I'm going to do something considerably smaller. It is a bathroom. So I think that I'll keep the same heights, keep the same bottom part as well here, but I'm just going to make it skinnier. Okay, and bring this down to here. Bring this down to here. I'm not going to worry about aligning this window above. And then again, I'm just going to come through, start to erase, clean up my windows. All right. Next thing I want to do for me personally is like I'm not really super happy with, first of all, with that, there we go. I'm not super happy with like the width of this over here. It just kind of looks funny. So I'm going to grab my move tool. I'm going to select this line and, bump it out a little bit, all right, to try and make it look a little bit better. All right, so I've got the front of my house laid out. I'm going to lay out a couple things on the side of my house also. I'm going to do a view, and I'm going to look at this isometrically. And I want to try and like bring these dimensions around my house for the moment, okay? So again, when we look at like our axes, we have a red axis, a blue axis, and a green axis. When I come through here, notice how I'm drawing this line as red, okay? Because that's on the red axis. Now I'm going to take this point and I want it to be green. It's going to go down my green axis. Okay, so that's the same height as this here. I'm also going to add like a secondary window at the top, which again, I really want it to be like at that height there. For my windows on the bottom, I want those heights to be the same, so I'm going to draw those out also. All right, same thing is actually happening on the other side of my house, not so much with the bottom, because again, this is going to be a bathroom, so I don't really want a ton of windows in there. But let's see here, which one do I need? This one. But I am going to put that same window coming back, so I'm just going to draw the height of both of these into here. Okay, so that gets me like laid out on, I don't know if the height's going to matter so much, but let's just put it in there again. I need to find that green line, there it is. All right. Cool. So I'm going to use the eraser tool. I'm going to pause this for a second. I'm going to use the eraser tool and I'm going to just clean up all the lines in the front that I've used to project around to the side. All right, so I'm back now. So we're going to look at the side of this house, which I think is this one here. Okay, and we're going to put in, again, for this side, I have 2 windows in here. So I'm going to put in 1 window here. I'm going to give myself a little bit of space. I'm going to put another, if you see this like line down the, let's see my midpoint. If you see this like diagonal line here, that's either going to represent a square or it's going to represent like a perfect or like a golden rectangle. Okay, the golden ratio of the rectangles. I'm just going to try my best to grab that, but let's try that one more time. Seems like my midpoint's getting in my way, so I can try to, there it is there. Okay, so I've got those, and again, when I come up here, I'm going to create a rectangle that's 4, 4. I'm going to create a square rather, 4, 4. I'm going to do this around at least 2 of my corners, 2 opposite corners on each window so that my trim is of equal size. Okay, now I can drop my trim in for these 2 windows. Although my trim's on the wrong side. Trim's on the wrong side, so I'm gonna undo that. And I'm gonna draw my squares on the inside. I'm not gonna make you watch me do this again, right? Oh, I just hit that control button, so I'm gonna hit that again. 4, 4. I'm gonna do that for all 4 of these. Hold on one second. All right, so again, there are my 4-inch by 4-inch rectangles, and you can do different size trim. You know, 4 inches is not like a requirement by any means, but some sort of trim around your windows is going to go a long ways towards making this house look realistic. Okay, so definitely add trim. And I can start to get rid of all of this stuff. Cool. So I'm going to do now a vertical window above here, okay? So this window above is going to be a triangle of sorts. And one thing that I can't really quite figure out is how to make like 2 lines parallel to one another, which would be super nice. So I'm just going to eyeball it. I'm going to bring it to here. And I really want this to end directly. And again, I'm looking at my blue line here, okay, because blue is going to go directly up. I don't want to grab the endpoint there because it's not aligned with one another, right? So when I go through to erase, I can select that line there, that line there, that line. Okay, and that sets me up with that one there. If I come across to this side here, I don't really have something to like base it off of, and I can't base it across from the opposite side too well. So I'm gonna fake it a little bit here and try my best to make something that looks approximately the same, but again, it's not gonna be perfect. That's okay. So we're gonna clean these up. Okay. And again, like, I don't like that. So pretty easy, I think I can kind of tweak, maybe not. Yeah, awesome. I can grab like the endpoints and I can tweak that around and try and make it look a little bit better. So that's not bad. I think that that's pretty decent here. All right. I think that that's enough for right now. The next lesson we'll talk about pushing and creating these windows and turning them into 3D objects. All right. So we'll leave it at that for right now.